guys? Today we are talking about truly no-knead bread. So bread was one of my first acts of real true food revolution, or at least in my own opinion. So we started out our journey many years ago. It was me and my husband. We were a young couple and we didn't necessarily know what we were doing was going against societal grains and norms. And we lived in the city, and my first real memory of doing something that was really countercultural was making our own dinner while our house was on the market. As we were trying to sell our home in the height of this housing bubble, as we had tons of lookers, tons of offers, and tons of people coming through our home. And I remember my real estate agent just freaking out because we were at home cooking. And she says, "What are you guys, living in the 1950s? Get out of here and go eat at a restaurant like normal people." And that really kind of threw me for a curve because I didn't think that what we were doing was weird. I was raised eating home-cooked meals. That's something we really felt strongly about doing for our own family. So it didn't strike me as something odd. But as I've come to find out, the older I get, that it is really truly unusual these days to be home cooking and from scratch cooking. So we, just like most standard Americans, used to buy a lot of products at the grocery store, and packaged bread was one of them. And I was determined to learn how to make my own bread. And I tried all sorts of recipes. I loved the act of bread making. And what I found was that I got exhausted and to the point where I couldn't even face making bread, just due to the fact that I knew that I had 10 minutes of kneading involved. And that seems a little silly, but with the hustle and bustle of daily life, that 10 minutes is precious, and that energy is precious. And so I kept researching, I kept seeing all these recipes that said they were no-knead breads, and they were liars. Every one of them had kneading in the instructions. And so I went and tweaked recipes that I found, recipes that I loved, and made it so that it was truly no-knead. And we're going to show you how tonight. So I'm Catherine. This is Little Bits of Heaven Homestead, where everything we do is a little bit of heaven. And this is my daughter, Sienna. She loves to help cook. And is bread one of your favorite things to make?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you like about making bread?
Mostly because I get to lick the spoon.
You like to lick the spoon?
Yeah.
Well, you'll get to do that tonight too. So you want to start with some sort of open container. I used to do it in like a big Tupperware, but you want to make sure that you don't have any sort of air seal on it. So hello, Michelle from Georgia. Thanks for joining us. I love these live shows because we get to interact. So feel free to ask any questions if you have them as I'm going along. So you want to start with some sort of open container. You will want to put a lid on it of some sort, but do make sure it's not airtight, because as this rises, it will produce gases, and if you have it completely sealed, it can blow the lid off. So what I tend to use is like a pot lid, or I'm going to use a plate for this certain bowl. Normally I make twice the amount that I'm going to make tonight, but in order to show you finished products and products along the way, I've actually got a lot of dough going, so I don't want to overproduce and have too much of an abundance here. So what we're going to do is, it's 4 ingredients. It doesn't get much easier than this. So our first ingredient is water.
Which is very important.
Very important, yes.
Because you cannot make bread without water.
Well, you can make bread without water.
Wow.
You can use whey. Oftentimes I use my leftover whey from cheese making. You can use milk. I'm sure that you could use beer or something. We just tend to, water is our most used. And then you're going to want, so that was about 1 1/4 cups-ish of water. And you may add more depending on what you end up with here. This is about 3/4 of a tablespoon of yeast. This happens to be just plain yeast. You can use fast rising. So you can do a couple things here to either speed up or slow down your process. This dough can sit overnight, and it's not going to affect it one way or another in the negative. If you want to speed up your process, you want to use a little bit of a warmer water, not so warm that it kills your yeast. So if it's warm enough when you put your finger in it that it feels warm to the touch but not hot, that should be safe as far as your yeast. So you can do a quick mix, and here there is nothing hard and fast as far as your mixture goes. It doesn't have to be fully incorporated. This is probably about as loose and sloppy a recipe as you can get. That works for me there.
Coming over here to get the flour.
We buy most of our ingredients in bulk. I used to buy yeast in bulk, but I found that I wasn't using it fast enough because they come in 2-pound packages. And so I keep debating on whether I want to go back to those packages or continue buying these jars. We'll probably buy yeast in bulk again. So I've actually gone with the ketogenic way of eating here recently, so I am not eating carbs myself. So this has been an act of self-control. Careful not to touch the water, just dump it. There we go.
Ah.
There we go. So whatever your water ratio is, you're going to use twice as much flour. So since I used 1 1/4 cups of water, I'm going for 3 1/2 cups of flour.
3 1/2?
3 1/2.
Wow.
So be sure to not touch it.
Yeah.
Here's number 3.
And also comment down below if you teach your children how to cook, because she is.
So please comment if you enjoy teaching your children how to cook. Let's see. Number 3.
Number 3.
All right. And now we're going to go with half.
Half?
There we go.
Yeah, it has so much flour in this recipe.
So much flour. Whoop, our door just opened. Can you go close that door?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's our front door just opened and I'm not sure why. Okay, and now we're going to do equal parts. Whatever we did in yeast, we're going to do the same in salt. We buy our salt in bulk. So let's see, great video. I love cooking with my girls. Thanks for saying that, Magdalena. It's such a gift to be able to teach our kids. So Serenity Mountain says, my kids used to cook with me growing up and they loved it. They're grown and gone now. Oh, and I'm sure they cherish those memories forever. So we store our salt in bulk. We do have some humidity issues, mostly in the summer due to running an evaporative cooler. So I keep rice in my salt container. So we sift it real quick before we put it into whatever our product is going to be. So, and then you do a quick and sloppy mix here. Again, this is not really, you're not going for major mixing. You're definitely not going for kneading. All you want to do here is incorporate all the ingredients so they're consistent. And it's going to end up, I can do this. It's going to end up looking kind of like a shaggy, somewhat dry cookie dough. And if it's not that consistency, you can add more water to it. As there is no real hard and fast science here. In fact, I'm going to get just a little bit of water. Hold on for a second.
Which it takes a little bit more water, because sometimes it gets really, really dry, because that first dump of water like dries up in it sometimes.
Sometimes we end up, because I'm not real exact on my flour measurements, oftentimes I end up with more flour than I planned. So, and again, you're not going for kneading. All you want to do here is make sure that things are consistently mixed. And I'll show you what it looks like.
Looks kind of like cookie dough, but more like flour.
Yeah, kind of like flour dough, huh?
Yeah, like you're making a flour, like cookie dough.
Kind of like a flour cookie dough, exactly. So this is what you're going for.
Yep.
I don't know if that looks well there. And then what you do is you take this and cover it up. So I'm just going to use a plate over the top.
Yeah.
And let it sit for about 2 hours. 2 hours at a minimum if you're using cool to room temperature water. If you're using warmer water, it'll rise a lot faster. And so what this is going to do, and I've got some to show you.
Which looks actually kind of, actually like cookie dough.
Does it look like cookie dough at this point?
Yes.
So this is whole wheat. And I've experimented with both all-purpose bread flour and whole wheat. They're all pretty consistent in their results. And so it gets real puffy. It's probably going to double, if not triple in size. And at this point, what I do is I take more of whatever flour it is you use. So in this case, I'm using King Arthur whole wheat flour. Hello, it's good to see you, 1 Acre Under God Homestead. Thanks for joining us. And what I'm gonna do, and there is no exact measurement here, is you just sprinkle the surface. You wanna do that?
Yeah.
Not all in one dump, sprinkle the surface. And what this is gonna do is when I get into it, it's just gonna help it keep from sticking. So could I use fresh ground grains? I am positive you can use fresh ground grains. I have not attempted that. I do have wheat berries. I don't have a grinder. I'm one of those crazy people that want the berries before my grinder. It's kind of like putting your horse before your cart, but we're gonna get there.
I'm gonna smooth it out.
Grace and steps. That's what I'm always trying to give myself grace to do the steps. So we're gonna set this off to the side for a second. So then what you want is you want to have your pans prepared. I haven't prepared this yet just to show you guys. So you just take whatever your bread pan is gonna be, and then I use either lard or shortening, and you wanna smear it really good.
Really good.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than not having a prepared pan, making your bread, and then it not coming out. A little bit of a disappointment.
And also comment down below if you children have teached themselves without having help, like I did once, making like food. Because I made breakfast for all of my family, which is 5 people.
She has made breakfast for us before. She likes to be helpful. And she loves the Dining on a Dime cookbook, and I frequently find her in here cooking out of it, much to my surprise and also impressment. So what I'm gonna do now is take whatever flour you're using, and you want to flour the bottoms. I've got 2 pans.
Just in case, I'm also yeah.
Not just in case, we have enough for 2 bread pans. So you wanna do that one, Sienna? So you wanna shake it so that it coats not only the bottom, but the sides. Because if it's not bottom and sides, it won't come out.
Yeah, which.
And then whatever is excess in here, I just dump it right on top of my bread dough. Do you have enough?
I think so. It's just hard for me.
You want me to do it?
Sure.
Okay. So,
And
a
also,
lot.
it's really fun to cook bread, and yeah, because we
Okay.
can like see differences, because we have a sun oven and we like,
You might need to speak a little louder so they can hear you.
yeah.
We have been experimenting cooking in our sun oven as well. So now here we've got our dough, and what I do is, again, you're not looking to knead it. All you want to do is scrape it off the sides here.
Like actual dough.
Cut it in about half.
Looks
Let's
kind of
see.
like slime.
Magdalena says, my oldest likes to make breakfast. She's almost 9 and likes to make bullseyes. Oh, my dad used to call them toad in the hole, where you do the toast and then put the egg in the middle. So here, again, not kneading. All you want to do is shape it so it's sort of a loaf. See? And then at this point, I'm going to cover it with a towel and let it sit for about 40 minutes. And pop it in the oven at about 425. Cook it for just over half an hour. What you're looking for is a hollow sound when you thump it, crusty on the outside. That's good there, Sienna. Thank you. So I'm setting these off to the side. And I'm going to show you a finished loaf. And that's all there is to it, guys. You can totally make bread. Look at how easy that was. So, no excuses. You can do this. If I can do this in minutes, you can do this in minutes.
And it's really fun.
It is really fun. So I use the same bread dough. You can turn it into pizza crust. You can use it for making rolls. You can make it into breadsticks. I've got some white wheat dough going, and I'm going to turn those into savory pinwheels. I'm debating on if I want to incorporate bacon into it, because bacon's awesome on everything. But I was thinking about just doing either cream cheese or butter with garlic and herbs. So really the sky's the limit. If you're making a bread product, you can use this recipe and you can do it quick and easy.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you got something of value. I'm going to try and figure out how to put up these little iCards so that I can link back to some of my other videos. I did a really sweet homestead hack this weekend, 3-minute long video, and it'll blow your mind if you don't already know this trick. So please check it out. I've got soaping videos, I've got rabbit videos. So I'm really trying to increase our library here, and we cover tons of topics at the homestead, so I hope you've been enjoying this, and we shall talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.